If you want to go back and look at it, please make sure that you log onto their website. I will also be sending out any PowerPoints that's sent to us. I will send it to the listserv. If you're not receiving the information or the notes, please just message me in the chat, and I'll make sure that you get your email information gets put so you can receive the PowerPoints and other information that's shared with us at this meeting. We do have a lot going on in March. I'm very thankful for those who will be with our communities today. So we'll immediately go ahead on and get started. I'm going to ask for, if you have questions, please use the raise chat button in the chat room or put it in the chat room. I know it's going to be kind of hard sometimes. You just want to kind of interrupt, but please let the people who are presenting get through what they have to get through, and then we'll open it up for questions. So without further ado, we're going to go on and get started. We have Steve Chalmers here with us, and he's with the Justice Movement. So if you all can give Steve just a few minutes of your time. Steve, I saw you on here. Good morning.
Good. How's everyone this morning?
Good morning, Steve.
Good.
Good morning. And I want to thank Mr. Chestnut. You guys ready for me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And again, good morning, and thank you, Mr. Chestnut, for allowing us to be a little time on your agenda this morning to introduce the Haiti Reborn Justice Movement. And I will be considerate of your time this morning. First, I would like to introduce, and I think we do have some of our staff on this morning. First, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Steve Chalmers. I am served 32 and a half years with the Durham Police Department. I retired as police chief. I'm currently the executive director of movement programs for the Haiti Reborn Justice Movement. We should also have on Lisa L.A. Jones, who actually she served in the military. She served 30 years with the Federal Bureau of Prisons, retiring as a prison warden. And she serves as the executive director of movement operations for the organization. And a third person that has just joined us, and she's very familiar to you, is Beverly B.J. Council, who also retired from the Durham Police Department as a deputy police chief. And she's currently serving as the assistant to the executive directors of the movement. Last year, just to give you a little history, Elaine O'Neill, prior to actually filing for mayor, she brought a group of people together and indicated that if she ran for mayor and she was elected, addressing violent crime would be first and top on her agenda. At that time, she brought a group of people together to actually start to formulate a plan to address violent crime. And after many meetings, conversations, dinners with people across the community, we meet with outreach organizations, gang leaders, past and present, professional service providers, nonprofit, for-profit, community leaders. We brought the community together to identify exactly what was going on. Of course, the most pertinent information came from those individuals who were involved in violent crime. And readily, they stepped to the table and said they wanted to be a part of the solution. So much of what we developed was based on the information, suggestions, and involvement of those individuals. The Justice Movement was developed as part of the Haiti Reborn, which is a revitalization project started by Dr. Henry McCoy at NCCU. This project focused on the Haiti area to include the Fairwood Street corridor. Dr. McCoy developed the Global Equity Project, which was designed for the Fairwood Street public housing site and is intended to be to systematically close the racial wealth gap. One of the things that Dr. McCoy felt that with this, a movement to address social, economic, criminal, as well as all aspects of injustice were needed as part of this project if we were going to see a change. So what is the Justice Movement? It is essentially an ecosystem, a one-stop shop where individuals can enter with needs, problems, concerns, issues, even questions. Once they come into the Justice Movement, they are assessed, they receive individual plans tailored specifically for them. They receive readiness and job preparation training, a $15 an hour stipend, a mentor who would help them to navigate through their plans and also to make good decisions, and continuing life skills training. So basically what we've done is incorporate a family atmosphere where once individuals come in, they never leave, and we continue to work with them. Through our diligence, we learned that the areas of needs included the criminal justice area, economic development and jobs, education, health and wellness, housing, inspiration, life skills training, recreation, and mentoring. And basically we went out and started to develop partnerships and coalitions centered around these particular areas. With the justice movement, we will be involved with intake, case management, quantitative analysis, and actually follow these individuals to make certain that they are well served and that all of their gaps are met. We will be involved with prevention, intervention, and reentry. And again, all of this information and suggestions came from those individuals as relates to the needs and concerns of the communities. We will be working with individuals from ages of 5 years old to adults. And we have a strong prevention component that we are actually incorporating, as I said, to include reentry. We feel that Durham is extremely rich in resources and talent and capable of solving any of the problems that presented to it. The problem that we've identified is there's a lack of coordination, a system which could bring all of these resources and talents together under one movement. Partnering is what we'll be doing, but also allowing organizations to maintain their autonomy. The justice movement is designed to do just that with no duplication or competition, just coordination and building alliances. Currently, we have over 60 programs and organizations in the city and county of Durham that have already committed to working together as part of this movement, including a lot of major organizations. We've also now partnering with the 110 program, which is a national program involving major companies and employers, Fortune 500 companies, committed to bringing 1 million family-sustaining salary jobs in 10 years to Black adults with related 2-year degrees and certification. Some of those companies include Lowe's, Johnson & Johnson, Cisco, Dow, Delta, Allstate, Merck, Gilead Sciences, Wells Fargo, Target, General Motors, IBM, Dow, Verizon. And right now, currently, they have over 60 of these organizations across the company who will actually be pulling jobs into the Raleigh-Durham area. The Haiti Reborn Justice Movement has been identified and selected to be the community development lead for the 110 initiative. So those jobs coming into this area will come directly to us, and we are responsible for the talent development, getting talent identified and developed for these jobs. So the one thing that we say is that the justice movement is just that, it's a movement, it's not a program. It's ever moving and evolving. It is intended to address the roots of the problems and bring about systemic change, restoring hope, justice, and provide bright futures and eliminate the negative aspects of our communities. We want to build on the rich cultures and the histories that we have. And we've just received funding from the city and the county, which is just a seed funding to get this initiative started. Among the first individuals that will be hired by the Haiti Reborn Justice Movement is a single mother who's a former gang member and drug addict, and also a former gang member and drug dealer, as well as a young man who grew up in public housing, but with the support of family and friends, was able to attend college and receive a 4-year degree. We are asking that the justice movement become a regular agenda item for the PACs to identify and referrals to us on or services that you would need. We want to be a resource, and we want to also make certain that you are a resource to us. I commend the PAC organization for almost 30 years. Mr. Chestnut and I had that conversation, almost 30 years of service to the Durham community and serving as a model for community empowerment. We don't find many organizations that stay around for 30 years and still is viable as partners against crime. And I'm just so proud to have been a part of that team that came together about 30 years ago to build this incredible model for the city and the county of Durham. And I really look forward to future conversations and presentations with you, your organizations. If you need for us to talk with your organization. I'm moving fast this morning because Mr. Chestnut said he was going to cut me off in 10 minutes. So we are moving forward to try to get this initial information just to kind of give you an overview of what we are embarking upon. And again, this tremendous partnership. We will respond to questions that you have. If you put them in the chat, if we get them, even if we don't have time today, we will respond to all of the questions that you have. And again, we look forward to working with you. Again, following in the steps of the Partners Against Crime, the Haiti Reborn Justice Movement is going to be just as a viable instrument for the community as the PACs have been, and with your help, we can make that happen. So, Mr. Chestnut, did I stay within time frame?
You're within your time.
Okay. So, folks, again, I thank y'all for this opportunity. We look forward to seeing you later.
As you all can see, it's very important that while we, as PAC 4 and 5, decided to bring the Haiti Reborn Justice Movement, because it is doing exactly what we envision, coordinating services so we can help people in our community. The community is rich, full of resources, but we're also rich, full of people who need services and help. So if we can work as partners, if you have a business, if you are interested in being working with the Haiti Reborn Justice Movement, put your name and information in the chat. I make sure I give it to Steve. If you want him to come visit your community or just tell you more about it, put it in the chat and we'll make sure all the information gets to him. I'm excited. I'm glad to be part of the movement myself. And I just know that's going to do great things for the people of Durham. We're going to move on because we do have some special guests. I'm going to start with, I saw Senator Natalie from District 20 on. I'm going to let her go first because I do know she has another commitment. But as you all know, it's re-election time, and it's time for us to start making some great decisions because we know that who we put in office ultimately impacts us. So we invite anyone who's running for office, not just the ones today, but anyone that's running for office to come so you all can get a chance to meet them, because it's very important that you make a intelligent decision. So I'm going to ask Senator Natalie Murdoch if you want to just kind of introduce yourself and speak to our communities.
All right. Thank you so much, LaManda. And thank you, Mr. Chestnut. It was so great running into you a few weeks ago. We are still in this pandemic, but starting to do more in-person events. And so thank you for your flexibility. I'm actually parked outside of Holton Career Resource Center. I'll be with PAC 1 at 11 o'clock. So it is a big PAC Saturday, but it actually takes me back to my roots before becoming a senator and even a soil and water supervisor. I worked with Go Triangle and Go Durham. And so I have spent time with all of the PACs talking about transit plans and things of that nature. Spent most of my weekends attending a lot of community meetings. I also see my colleague, Senator Woodard, on, as well as Senator Valerie Fuschin, who is the chair of our caucus. So glad to see them here. And I know all of them will be able to provide all sorts of legislative updates for you all. But Senator Natalie Murdoch, and after redistricting, I know it's a lot to follow. So when the dust settled, I currently have the southern part of Durham and all of Chatham, but it is still a Durham heavy district. I think the Durham part of the district is still 120,000 some odd voters, and then there's 70,000 voters in Chatham. So it's still a Durham heavy district, but I live in the southern part of the county now. I did live close to Duke, but with redistricting, knowing that the veteran senator was maybe 2 miles from me, I did not want to be double bunked and drawn out of a district. So moved all the way south. I'm now in precinct 33 that LaManda was previously chair of until she moved. And so I'm in the south with the new district. I still have Central University, the main campus of Durham Tech, and the Research Triangle Park. So still have a good amount of Durham in the district. And so for folks that don't know, I was appointed to fulfill the remainder of the term for Senator McKissick that served, I believe, around 12, 13 years in the Senate. He was appointed to Utilities Commission. So after winning the primary in March of 2020, April 1 will make 2 years as a state senator. I do not have any Democratic opposition, but still campaigning, still letting folks know why I'm running, why I want to serve. as God would have it, the last election, I was in the bluest Senate districts. I was actually the only senator to crack over 100,000 votes. Now I'm confident that my colleague in the Senate, Senator Woodard, will do the same and have hit the ground running. Filed a lot of legislation around the Crown Act so that you can't discriminate against folks that wear their natural hair. Worked on a lot of Black maternal health work. So I've joined the task force to look at the future of public health just as a result of the Black maternal health work that I'm doing. I do a lot of work in transportation. Also do a lot of work with Select Committee on Prison Safety. I'm currently independently touring all of our prisons as a result of everything we dealt with in COVID. Worked with Representative Austin to get those facilities. The large women's prison actually did not have air, went directly to leadership so that women would have access to Medicaid for 12 months. They're currently kicked off after 60 days. Imagine just having a baby and trying to figure out how to get a handle on your high blood pressure, your diabetes, postpartum depression in just 60 days. Now they will have coverage for 12 months. We want to get that up to 24, but we will take that 12 that did make it in the Senate budget. I also do a lot of work around equity for menstrual products. Was able to get some money in the budget to have that available in the public schools for free if those public school boards apply for those funds. And more than anything, we'll always fight for workers and working people. In the budget, I wasn't able to support the budget for various reasons, but there were good provisions in there, knowing that it had a good shot at passing. I still worked to get a lot in there. I got some funds in there for local farm hubs that it impacts right here in Durham, if any of you are part of Tall Grass Box, as well as Pittsboro, which will be a part of my new district. And we also were able to get non-certified employees up to $15 an hour. Durham County had already stepped up and done that, but my grandmother was actually a cafeteria worker for Guilford County Schools. So that is something that is near and dear to my heart, that whether you be a bus driver or do janitorial services, or you're in that kitchen, you are pouring into our children. And so all of them deserve those higher wages. We know how expensive gas and groceries are. So our wages have to keep up. So I will close with, this is a very important year, particularly for the Senate, which is why I'm glad you have 3 senators on the call this morning. We are fighting to maintain the ability to uphold vetoes from Governor Cooper. Those vetoes will help us to have clean air and clean drinking water. They will ensure that women still have a right to choose. They will ensure that we do not continue to defund our public schools. People are failing to talk about that. We have to make sure our public schools have all of the funding that they need, and that they are not left by the wayside, especially after 2 years of being in remote learning. We have to make sure that these state public dollars still go to these schools. Now more than ever, we still fail to fully fund Leandro. So that is what is on the ballot. Also encourage folks to vote the entire ballot. We have our Supreme Court justices that are on, specifically Judge Inman and Judge Sam Irving. We cannot lose that balance of our Supreme Court. I wish we did not have partisan elections, but we do. And we cannot lose the Supreme Court, since we do still have Governor Cooper for 2 more years. He will not be able to veto the extreme legislation that you see moving forward from Georgia to Texas to Florida. North Carolina will be next if we do not hold the House and the Senate. So thank you all. Again, I will put my information in the chat, and look forward to hopefully meeting with you in person when we get back to in-person meetings. Have a good Saturday.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for putting us on your agenda. I know it's very busy for you this Saturday. And while we're on the topic, all PAC 4 and 5, we will be going back
It was a
to in-person.
different ID number.
We will be going back to in-person in the next month. So I'm excited about that. As she said, we do have some other senators on. Senator Fuschin, I'm going to hold you for last because you're running for the big one. I've got Senator Mike. I think that I see Senator Woodard on.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Mom, I'm here.
Okay, Senator Woodard, I'm running for District 22.
Good morning. It's great to see you all. And if y'all
Good
think
morning, Good morning, Senator Woodard.
good to see you, my friend. How are you?
I know you were coming because you know which one PAC 4 is. We got that straight, right?
We're gonna talk about that in just a minute. If y'all expect me to talk as fast as Senator Murdoch, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna disappoint you. I cannot talk nearly as fast as she does, and she can cram a lot of information in there. But I'm very happy to be back at PAC 4, and now that you all are meeting with PAC 5, it's great to see our friends from PAC 5. Mr. Chestnut makes me come at least once a year and visit with you all, and so I'm happy to be here today with my great friends and colleagues, Senator Murdoch and Senator Fuschin. And Senator Fuschin is going to tell you a little more about what her future plans are that I heartily endorse, and will encourage y'all to get on board and support us. As many of you, I was going to say old timers, Chestnut, but I'll say long time members of PAC 4 know. I came up through PAC 2, the other good PAC in Durham, and have been so supportive of the PAC movement here, which is why I'm so happy to see Chief Chalmers and Deputy Chief Counsel here, because as Chief Chalmers mentioned, he was one of the founders of the PAC movement in Durham, and it has been so critical in building our communities over these last few decades. I wasn't there at the beginning, Chief, but I came along shortly thereafter, so I got a couple of decades in PACs. And I have to say, as many of you all know, recent city leaders have not emphasized PACs as strong as some of us used to, but I'm delighted that we have turned that around at City Hall, and we're going to see a lot more emphasis on PACs in the years ahead. And that's why I just want to congratulate you all in PAC 4 and PAC 5 for hanging on and keeping your PAC going when you didn't always get the support you needed from City Hall. Thanks to all of our departments and I see some great friends from our police department and other city departments as well, who continue to support your work and continue to be guests here. I don't want to take a lot of time today. I think many of you all know me. As was said, I am running for re-election, my 6th term representing District 22. I'll talk about 2 quick things today, maps and Medicaid. Senator Murdoch touched on the maps. As you know, we do redistricting every 10 years. So thanks to our Republican friends who draw bad maps at every turn, it seems like we're drawing maps all the time. My district changed 4 times in the last decade that I've represented you all. And because of population shifts, it has changed again. I'm happy to report to you all that, as Senator Murdoch mentioned, our districts shifted in Durham, and I'll be representing the bulk of Durham now. My district starts at Lawson Street and goes north all the way to the Person County line. So I'm very happy to have that. So PAC 4, a good portion of PAC 4 is back in my Senate district, and of course all of PAC 5 is. But we work as a team in our Durham delegation, and I hope you all know that. Your 2 senators, Senator Murdoch and me, your representatives, Morey, Hawkins, and Alston. And we'll have a new representative joining us as part of redistricting this year. The north part of Durham County is paired with Person County, and we have an outstanding representative from Person County who's going to be joining us. Ray Jeffers is going to be flipping that seat, and Ray's a former county commissioner in Person County, farmer up there, and an incredible representative, and we look forward to welcoming him to the Durham delegation. So I hope you all know that the 6 of us represent all of Durham. We work as a team. Anytime you need anything, I hope you'll reach out to any one of the 6 of us. So maps are settled, so we have begun our election cycle. We touch on Medicaid. I'm very honored to be serving on the first serious effort in a decade we have to expand Medicaid in North Carolina. The Republican leadership has finally said that it's time to expand Medicaid and have committed a joint committee of both Senate and House members. And I'm very excited with the work we've started to do and their public commitment to go ahead and begin Medicaid expansion. This is a big deal. It could mean as many as 20,000 people in Durham will get health coverage that they don't have now under Medicaid. And that just lowers the bills for those of us who have health care, be that on Medicare, or if you receive health care from your employer, or you pay for it on your own. And it just means we're going to be a healthier Durham. It also means probably a couple thousand new jobs in the healthcare sector and the related industries. So this is something I know Senator Fuschin and I have been fighting since we walked into the legislature together 10 years ago, and that Senator Murdoch has been championing in her time with us. So thank God, I think we're finally there. We got a lot of work to do to get a final proposal together. And you rest assured that Senator Fuschin, Senator Murdoch, and I are going to keep fighting every day for Medicaid and for good health care for all of us here in Durham and Orange counties. Let me just say on the upcoming election, Senator Murdoch touched on this, and I just wanted to amplify her comments. It is this election, you hear it every year to the point where you get tired of hearing it's the most important election of your lifetime. So I'm not going to tell you that today, but I am going to tell you this could be one of the most consequential elections in our state. The consequences are huge. We have been able, because of your support here in Durham, and your support of the Durham delegation, we've been able to pass some very important legislation, and we've had to work with our Republican colleagues, and sometimes we have to hold our nose to get in there and do that. But we've been successful in passing some important work just in the last year, this long session. A landmark clean energy bill that puts us at the forefront of clean energy and strong economy in this state. Passing important health legislation, important education. And Senator Murdoch and I were able to secure a number of important funding items in the budget this year. While we didn't like the initial draft of the budget, we were able to continue to work with our colleagues and secure some important funding efforts at North Carolina Central University and for a number of our nonprofit groups and for our healthcare sector. As many of you know, we do groundbreaking research, both in COVID and in other research areas, and we were able to secure somewhere in the neighborhood of $26 million over the last 2 years in that area as well. What's important is that you continue to support this legislative delegation so that we can continue to do your work in Raleigh on behalf of the Durham community and the Greater Triangle area, and they continue to work in partnership with Governor Cooper for the remainder of his term, and then thinking ahead how we move forward in a progressive way that supports the people of Durham and the region. With that, Amanda, I'm going to just stop. I know Chestnut is famous for cutting me off if I go on too long, so I'm not going to incur his wrath today. This is my great friend, and he's taught me how to try to be succinct as possible in these PAC meetings. I know Senator Fuschin's on deck, but
Yes.
I see Senator Murdoch is still sitting in her car. But if you all have a couple minutes of questions, and it would be appropriate, be happy to answer your questions. But let me just again express my incredible gratitude and thanks to PAC 4 and to PAC 5. Y'all the best. I even wore my national night out hat.
I say that. I saw that.
I put my hat on today, so you all know how much I support the efforts of PAC. And I'm just so glad we're going to see a resurgence in our Partners Against Crime group in Durham, because you all are critical to a healthy community. Thank you.
Senator Woodard, he passed on to me now, cutting people off. So I'll continue to the tradition. I am really excited to have both you and Senator Natalie with us. But now we also have Senator Valerie Fuschin. And Senator Fuschin, I'll let you all let her tell you what she's running for. Senator Fuschin, thank you for joining PAC 4 and 5 today.
Good morning, and thank you, Lamanda, for introducing me, and certainly to Brother Chestnut for inviting me today. I am being introduced to PAC 4 and 5, and I am grateful for this opportunity. I it has not been a situation where I'm used to addressing people in the Durham community, not for a while now. When I came to the General Assembly, I came as a representative of Durham and was a part of the Durham delegation. Certainly served with Senator Woodard and Representative Lupke, Representative Mashaw, Representative Hall, and then Senator McKissick. But I am a candidate for Congress in CD4, which includes Durham, Orange, Person, Granville, and a small portion of Caswell and all of Alamance counties. I have been an elected servant for more than 20 years. I've served on the Chapel Hill Carver City School Board. I served as an Orange County Commissioner, and I've served in both the House and the Senate in the North Carolina General Assembly. I'm looking forward to taking that experience to Washington to ensure quality education and healthcare for all of our citizens. I want to work to preserve our democracy by strengthening our voting rights and to secure and preserve our communities by working on criminal justice reform. It has been my honor and my privilege to have been able to work with senators on both sides of the aisle to pass what we thought would move forward criminal justice in our state, but certainly didn't go far enough, and we will continue to work on those efforts. In addition to that, certainly I will continue to work for climate action to ensure that we preserve this earth for future generations. I don't know how many questions you may have, but I will tell you that having this opportunity to represent this district in Congress is more than just an honor, but I feel that it's a calling for me. I think that we're in a moment where we see African Americans having the opportunity to not just represent, but to be effective in changing and bringing forward solutions that not just work for our communities, but work for all communities. I think all of us know that a rising tide lifts all boats. And so given this opportunity in this moment, we understand that when we're talking about criminal justice reform, we're talking about a system that would include decriminalization of possession and use of marijuana for people over 21 years old. We know that our jails are flooded with young men and women who have not been given the opportunity of second chance so that they can contribute to their communities. We need to work towards eliminating cash bail so that people are not serving sentences before they have been convicted of crimes. I plan to go to Washington to work on voting rights to ensure that we have legislation that will protect our right to vote, that we can ensure that we have unfettered access to the voting box. I think that we know that in order to do that, we have to work to eliminate gerrymandering. And so we need to do that by passing the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the For the People Act. Those are opportunities for us to strengthen our democracy and ensure that everybody has the right to participate in our system. And certainly for as long as I've been a public servant, education has meant a lot to me. I was the product of two teenagers who dropped out of high school. But those two teenagers understood what education would mean for me and my siblings. And so they worked hard to make sure that we were educated. My parents raised 7 children, and 6 of those children went to college. 3 of them graduated from 4-year universities and 2 from community college. I've had the opportunity to serve as a trustee for Durham Technical Community College. I served as a trustee for 7 years. And I know what our community college system does for not just providing opportunities for people to work and to be able to afford the quality of life that they deserve, but our community college system prepares people for the jobs that are here now and those that are coming. You know, it's not unheard of that people who have 4-year degrees end up having to go to a community college to learn a specific skill or skill set so that they're able to participate with the new jobs that are coming to this area in particular. So those are some of the things that I look forward to serving if given the opportunity to go to DC. But as you heard from my colleagues, we had the opportunity this past session, as long as it was, to stay in and fight for those things that we know help the citizens in the communities that we serve. You know, to pass that criminal justice reform bill was not an easy feat, but I will tell you that Senator Murdoch and several others of us attended the funeral services for Andrew Brown in Elizabeth City. The day that we returned back to the General Assembly, there were 7 of us, 7 Democrats that worked with Senator Britt, who was the author of that bill. We sat in a room and talked about those things that we thought were critical and crucial to us being able to support that bill. And again, as I said earlier, even though it didn't go as far as we thought it should have, we made inroads on bringing forward some of the ideas, some of the solutions that we thought were necessary. And we were able to get that bill passed. We were able to talk with the governor to make sure that as much as he wanted to get in there was in that bill, and it was signed. I am proud to say that I was able to work with Republican senators to get a bill passed that eliminates child marriage in this state. North Carolina was one of 2 states that allow 14-year-olds to get married, which has helped to perpetuate human trafficking in our area. That is no longer permissible or permitted by law. So we have continued to work to do what we could while we can with this composition of legislators, but we can go further. It's going to take your help and everybody else's help, as you've heard before, to ensure that we keep an adequate number of senators to be able to sustain Governor Cooper's vetoes when we see these ridiculous bills that don't do anything to benefit North Carolinians, but indeed harm many of our citizens. So I'm looking forward to working with PAC 4 and 5 and other PACs as I move to represent Durham. And I appreciate your support. I'm here for you. I'm accessible. I will put my information in the chat, and I look forward to working with you all in the future. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Fuschin, for coming. You always are welcome. As you all know, again, I just want to make sure that you're clear that Senator Fuschin is running for U.S. House North Carolina District 6. She has done great work at one time, and she said she was, I'm sorry, District 4.
Yeah, it changed again.
Gosh, it keeps changing. She has done great work for Durham and for North Carolina. So I just want to make sure that she knows that you are invited, Senator Fuschin, to come back. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. I will share with you all her information so you all can be able to learn more about her or get directly to her, as well as all the senators that was here today. So I just thank you all for coming through. You all are welcome at any time to come back through. I know that we have some work to do. I want to encourage everyone, if you are not already registered, please register to vote. I'm sure everyone on here are already registered to vote, but please take someone that you don't know to be registered. Make sure they register and make sure they go vote. That's the second thing. I know registration is important, but the next thing, they have to get out to vote. I am going to now move on to our Durham County. Oh no, I'm sorry. I do have one other person. That's Labria Stevens. Didn't I see you? You running for clerk of Superior Court?
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me. I am running for Clerk of Superior Court. I am a practicing attorney here in Durham. I serve as a jury commissioner here in Durham. I ask folks to check me out at stevensforclerkofcourt.com to learn more about me. I look forward to having an opportunity to serve you. So thank you for having me today, but I am running for Clerk of Superior Court.
All right. And Amina Thompson? Didn't I see you on here? Aren't you running? For Clerk of Superior Court? I see you came off mute, but we can't hear you. We'll come back around to you, okay? Put message me in the direct chat, okay? But we can't hear you. Okay, I think that's all that I see that I know who's running. If there's anyone I missed, please just kind of give me a heads up in the chat. We're gonna move on to our Durham County Health Department. Joyce, didn't I see Joyce? I'm sorry, Jonathan Wilson, did you have a question?
No, ma'am, I filed to run to be Durham County District Attorney. Just wanted to introduce myself to everyone. My name is Jonathan Wilson. I'm a criminal defense attorney here in Durham, North Carolina. I've been here since 2006 and been practicing over a decade. I'm excited to announce that I have filed to be Durham County District Attorney. I'm actually out and about right now as we speak, and I don't want to be too long because this is my second PAC meeting and I don't want to get cut off by either of the chestnuts. So I want to make sure I stay within the time parameters. But I'm running to be the Durham County District Attorney because I want to repair the relationships with the community and the aggrieved victims. I want to reduce the barriers that are preventing any type of fairness and equity. And I want to restore the swift administration of justice. If anyone has any questions or anything along those lines, I'll leave my information down in the chat. And thank you for giving me time for being able to introduce myself to y'all, and y'all have a great day.
Okay. Jonathan, we'll have you back so you can get a chance to really kind of get some questions in. But if you put your information in the chat, I'll make sure that everyone gets that information.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you. All right, now, Joyce, now you're up from the health
Thank you
department.
so
Sorry
much.
about that.
No problem. This was a very important session, so you did the right thing. The others should have taken priority. Thank you all so much. Mr. Chestnut has already called me and told me to make it real brief, and I'm going to do that by saying that the mask mandate ended for most people. The indoor mask mandate ended on March the 7th. You're still required to wear a mask for public transportation, in healthcare settings, in Durham County government buildings, and in some businesses if they choose for you to wear a mask in their facilities. For employees in Durham County, it ends March the 21st. For schools, that's up to the school system, and updates will be provided on that. We encourage you to continue to wear masks. We are still seeing COVID cases, even though the rates have, positive rates have decreased by more than half, but there are continuously variants of COVID that we have to deal with. So we encourage people to wear a mask. And if you need a mask, there are masks available at many places. I know that Mr. Chestnut called me and told me you all distributed masks, PAC 4 last weekend. I know White Rock Baptist Church has a number of masks and several other churches have masks. If you need masks, please get in contact with me. We are no longer giving masks out in bulk from Durham County Health Department, but there are locations that have masks available. Those are the N95. Thank you. Take care, everybody.
All right, anyone have any questions for Joyce? Just put it in the chat. As she said, we did distribute out masks. If you need some more masks, please let us know. We still have some available. I know, the mandates are saying that not to mask, but we still know there's COVID is still out there. So if you want some masks, just let us know. We'll get you some. I'm going to turn it back over to Dad
Thank you. Ms. Steptoe from District 5, the Health Department. Joyce, were you speaking for both?
I'm speaking for both. Alexis Steptoe, who was covering District 5, is no longer with the Health Department. She's now moved on to North Carolina State University. So I will be the person covering both 4 and 5.
Thank you. Ms. Constance from NIS, are you with me? Who from NIS gonna make that report?
Yes, good morning, Mr.
Oh,
Chestnut.
Constance, good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Mr. Chestnut. This is Constance Stansel, Neighborhood Improvement Services Director. We have Kevin Jones, who's going to make a presentation or talk to you this morning about the Equitable and Green Infrastructure Project. And that is a project that we are working with the City Manager's Office with. In June 2021, City Council approved a 0.5 cents on the tax rate in order for there to be investment in disinvested communities, marginalized communities. And Kevin is going to tell you about that project. And we want to invite everyone on the call to be involved in that. We're especially looking to have people in individual neighborhoods participate in this. And so that's what Kevin is going to talk to you about this morning. And thank you, Mr. Chestnut, for allowing us to talk about this very important initiative that City Council initiated in June of last year. And the City Manager's Office is really wanting us to make sure that it's a successful initiative and have all community members involved, not just people who are normally involved, but all members of the community have an opportunity to decide what will happen in their neighborhoods with this money, which should generate $1.6 million each year. That would go directly to neighborhoods in the city of Durham, and especially those neighborhoods that are marginalized. So Kevin is going to tell you more about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Constance. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's well. As Constance mentioned, we're going to have $1.6 million of funding for infrastructure. This infrastructure is going to go to investment and engagement in low wealth communities and communities of color, which is great for everybody in Durham. We have many communities like that. What is infrastructure? Infrastructure is going to include physical things such as roads, bridges, tunnels, and water supplies. It's also going to include non-physical items, such as systematic drivers of equity to eliminate disparity. So this money can go to many different causes in neighborhoods in Durham. So we'll need you to kind of fill this form out, put your neighborhood on here so you guys are represented as this information goes up to the City Council for review. I'll put the link in the chat. But Neighborhood Improvement Services, our partners will be the engagement piece, which is things like this to inform you all that there is going to be $1.6 million available for your neighborhood and other places in Durham. It's very important that we get this information in and get some feedback going. Neighborhood Improvement Services is also going to engage residents in these areas. So we're going to have events. We're going to let them know about that. We have a lot of our neighborhood match and grant events coming up. So you will see us having block parties in the next month or so as this weather kind of breaks. We'll be pushing that information out there as well. And we're trying to prioritize residents' needs, wants, and issues. So on that form, please feel free to put your name, put your neighborhood, and then any needs, wants, and issues that you have within that neighborhood. So they're very clear and those issues can get addressed with that $1.6 million. And I keep emphasizing that point because we would like to use all of the money they give us to show that there are several places in Durham that really need this help. And we can use $1.6 million across the city and get a lot of things done. So we're going to use methods to identify areas that are low wealth. So this includes like geographic data we have with the city, environmental data. We're going to pull all of the data that we have in our powers with the city to see what areas can be used along with information submitted by residents such as you all. We are NIS and Neighborhood Improvement Services. We are seeking allies. So if you would like to be kind of a leader in the community, where you kind of want to spearhead a project or say, hey, I know a group of people, I may not live there, but I know somebody that lives over there and they are interested and I'll help them do that, we will facilitate that as well. which is kind of my job in this whole thing, is to kind of be a liaison between you all and the city and how we kind of work. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I can kind of answer those and kind of push you all in the right direction. But like I said, I hope this link that I send out with the flyer and also with the information that you can fill out for your community, you all can fill out and you all can forward this to other people in the community as well. So we can get this filled out, we can get this money used. $1.6 million is a lot of money, and I would love to be able to burn through all 1.6 and get these neighborhoods straight. That can go to things such as fixing roads. We can do a lot of stuff with this money. They haven't really put boundaries on it yet. So as they see requests, they'll use that money as they see fit based on requests from neighborhoods and individuals. So we'll report back. I do want to get this out there. The deadline for this, for the link for the information for your neighborhood is going to expire on the 15th. So we kind of need this to be filled out quickly. Please forward that information. They're going to review this information on the 23rd of March as well. So if it goes past the 15th, I still encourage people to fill it out just so that information comes in, and we will continue to forward it. So I'm going to drop all of this information in the chat. I know it was a lot. I'm trying to stay time friendly for the chestnut. So I'll put this information in the chat, and if you guys have any questions, please email me directly, or you can even type a question in the chat here. But I'll be here.
There's a
but it's
question
a lot.
in the chat, Kevin. It
Oh,
says,
let me look.
is there a
Oh,
time frame that the 1.6 million should be spent?
So that has not been addressed yet. They've given us a time frame that they need the information. I know that based on how many neighborhoods there are and the city information that I know and how it processes, it can take a few months for them to kind of get this on the docket and review it. And they'll come back to either us or Constance, of course, and it'll come back to us as the engagement coordinators. But this is a process that's going to take months. And I think a lot of the engagement around it, as far as the money goes, is gonna be closer to 2023. But as you know, this stuff has to be done early. So I encourage you to fill that out. Were there any more questions in the chat? Let me take a look.
Kevin, can I just say that this is just a kickoff. This is not a one-time thing. We received this information, and we are urging everyone to participate in this first round kickoff, but this is an ongoing process. So we are planning to give City Council a report, I think sometime in May, but we are going to continue to this process as an ongoing process because City Council has dedicated, they have sent on the tax for not only this year, but for next year and for years to come. So it is going to be an ongoing process. This is the first time that we're kicking it off. So in order for us to get as much information as soon as possible, we've set the deadline of the 15th, but if we need to move it back some, we will do that too. We're just trying to get as much information as possible in this first round to share with the city manager's office, who will then share it with the city council. And we want people to prioritize what you want to see happen in your neighborhood. It doesn't have to be a road. It could be a project like the one that Chief Chalmers is working on. If you want to see something done through his project, that's an equitable project that we love for groups like his and other groups to participate in. It's not just for roads and sidewalks. It's for things that you deem that's really important in your neighborhood. That's equitable, focus on equity as well as green.
Steve,
Okay, and what is Kevin's email address?
I'll drop it in the chat. I'll drop it in the chat. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Is there any more questions for Kevin?
This is, I'm not on, could you give me your information? I'm not on the Zoom, but I'm on by phone. Could you give me your information?
Yeah, my email address, well, my name is Kevin Jones, and my email address is Kevin, Kevin, .Jones, Jones.
Wait a minute, Kevin?
Yep.
Kevin Jones?
Yep, so it's Kevin.Jones.
Kevin.Jones?
Yep, at DurhamNC.gov.
At Durham NC. Okay, thank you. Well, what is your phone number?
It's
Kevin.
919
Okay,
748
748
2694.
2694. Okay, I will ask you to send me that information.
And
Thank you.
Ms.
Okay.
White, I will also email you, Ms. White, to make sure you have the information, okay?
Okay, thank you, Amanda.
Ms. Stanton and Kevin, are y'all, I know you said the 15th, but can you give us a little bit more time? Because we're
Yes.
in the process of collecting all information from our neighborhood, you know, what they
Yes.
really need, and it's gonna take a
Yes.
process. You know, we're trying to get that form. Daddy really pushing me to do that.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we can extend it. Yes, please.
So
So
thank
you're
you.
gonna send it in because I need to get my application in too.
Yes, we can extend it an additional week to have.
So instead of the 15th.
And this is just for the first round. We will continue this process over and over again. So it's not, this is just a kickoff, and we can extend it for another week. And then once we get that information in, we'll be going back out again, gathering more information. So it's an ongoing process.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you have any more questions, put them in the chat and we will try to get them answered for you. Michelle, do we have Michelle from code enforcement? Councilman, you on?
Michelle is here. Michelle is here.
Okay, Michelle. Somehow or another, she's not on.
Well, it's Michael Vaughn that'll be doing the report from code enforcement.
Okay.
I don't know if Michael's on. Is Michael on here?
See, Mike. We'll get back to him. We can move on. Jeff from Parks and Recs, are you on? Okay.
Kim Oberly is sitting in for Jeff today.
Okay, good enough.
Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a very long time. I'm sitting in for Jeff Ford today. He's taking the weekend off. Parks and Recreation is in full roll right now. We're looking a lot more normal. Lots and lots of programs that are going on this spring. I've dropped that form in the chat if you guys want to look at that, because it's 2 pages of programs and all of the fees and charges and deadlines and things like that. Some highlights: the city lakes opened yesterday, thankfully, which is great for us because I manage the outdoor recreation unit and the lakes. The bass are jumping. If you fish, come out to Little River or Lake Mickey, because we've caught some big fish just in that first day. I think somebody got a 7.5 pounder yesterday, which is, yeah, not insignificant. Senior Games begins April 11th. We're in Silver Arch, so we're in the middle of registration for that. I know that everybody wants to know about egg hunts because it's that time of year, and we're kind of back to normal with that as well. We have 3 egg hunts that we're doing. So we've got an egg dive. If you want to go to Campus Hills and dive for your eggs, go to Campus Hills. If you want to do just a standard egg hunt, a regular egg hunt, West Point on the Eno is back to doing their traditional egg hunt, and that's on April 9th. And then we have the doggone egg hunt if you want to come hunt eggs with your dog at West Point on the Eno. Not sure exactly how that works, but if the dog gets the egg or the owner does. Summer camp registration is open. I'd also like to add that I think that they still need staff, and if you know somebody who is 18 or older that would like a summer camp job, that they need to check us out right now. So registration is already open. Camp is going to run from June 13th to August 12th. There'll be 5 sites. So Edison Johnson, Campus Hills, Holton will have 2. They'll have the Road to Broadway and traditional camp, and then WD Hill will have camp there. The teen camps are for age 13 to 17. They'll be running again this year. 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the Teen Summer Connect Camp at Holton. Senior Spring Fling is coming up. It replaces the senior holiday party that we couldn't have due to COVID. That one is on April 8th. It's from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Armory. I believe. I need to double check that. It didn't say in the doc. And the Durham Armory is now open for rentals. So if you're having graduation parties, would like to have a graduation party, it's open now to be booked. Quick piece of information is that the downtown office is going to be closed on Thursday because DPR admin, where you normally would go to sign up for programs and those things, it's going to be closed because they're replacing the HVAC. So I pick any other day than this coming Thursday. And like I said, the document is dropped in the chat. You may have questions about something I didn't talk about.
Anyone have any questions about Park and Rec to Kimberly?
Nope.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We certainly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Captain Mark Manning from Sheriff's Department, Animal Service, are you with me? Anyone from the Sheriff's Department with me?
Yes, sir, I'm with you.
Okay, good enough.
I just want to introduce myself to everyone. I'll be new to the PAC 4 and 5. As Mr. Chestnut said, good morning to everyone, and I am Captain Mark Manning with the Durham County Animal Services Division. It's a division that is a part of the Sheriff's Office. We took over animal control per se in 2012, and I'm here to just be another resource for you guys and maybe educate a little bit, dispel some myths and rumors about what animal services can and can't actually do and things of that nature. And I'm happy to give you guys a full report at the next time we all meet, or I can give you some stats here today and tell you some things we can do, try to answer any questions that you have. And I'll be sure to put my contact information in the chat screen down here for you guys. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes, I have a question. It's a lot of cats roaming in Durham.
Yes, it is.
Do animal shelters pick up cats as well as dogs?
So there's two things. The animal shelter is not a part of animal services, and that's where it's very confusing, especially while we actually sit directly beside each other. The animal shelter is a shelter for the county and city of Durham, and it's only one. And it is actually ran by Animal Protection Society of Durham. Now, that is where we do take impounded animals, and yes, we do impound for animal services, cats and dogs. So if you have a stray dog or a stray cat, we call cats basically nuisance animals when they're stray, just call the dispatch line and animal services will respond to you guys.
Okay, so I just called the sheriff department.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
There's been chatter in our neighborhood about barking dogs. Maybe tied up outside, or isolation stress, and there's just a lot of barking. There's also complaints in our neighborhood about people not picking up after their pets when they're taking them out for their strolls.
Right.
So what does your department do or can do or can't do relative to those two complaints?
Well, that's kind of a difficult question because it all depends on where you live. So the Animal Services Division is a part of the Sheriff's Office. So we can only enforce general statutes and county ordinances. We can't enforce city ordinances. But there are some general statutes that incorporate that right there. As far as the barking dog situation, if you actually live in the city of Durham, that's going to be a noise ordinance violation through the city code, and we can't enforce that. But as far as the tethering of the dog, if it's there are state laws for that, and we can address that we can try to address that if that answers your question. As far as the waste, yes, those are things that we can actually enforce. All you need to do is call the sheriff's office and we can respond to that. Now with that, it is hard you got to understand it's hard to enforce that law because you kind of have to see that in the act. If you have video evidence of proof or photographic proof of an animal like that, and you know who the animal belongs to and the owner and so forth, then of course we can prosecute. But if there's just waste in the yard, it's kind of really difficult to actually enforce that.
So basically, if somebody does have photographic or video evidence of the owner not picking up after the dog that they're walking, that would be sufficient to send to you for prosecution?
That's a really good start. Yes, sir. That's a really good start.
Okay. Do you normally do something like DNA testing to before you go to court, or is it just we're going to warn you once, don't do it again, or it's going to cause you real trouble when
Well,
it comes to
each
the other.
situation is a little different, and it's all case specific. But no, there is no DNA testing available for that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Any more questions for Officer Manning? If not, thanks so much for Officer Manning for being with us
Absolutely,
today.
thank you.
Yes, I have a question.
Oh, okay.
This is Camellia Fouts on the south side. I've had some neighbors complain about a rooster. Rooster allowed in the city?
That's actually going to be a city zoning violation, ma'am. That's not something that we can address, unfortunately. I'm not sure what the city code is for chickens in the city limits. They are allowed in the county limits.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Harold, I know the answer to that question about roosters.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I was on city council, I helped write that ordinance. Chickens are allowed in the city limits. There are certain restrictions about the placement and number. Roosters are not allowed in the city limits, and they constitute a noise ordinance. And as Deputy Manning said, that would be a police enforcement matter for roosters. But roosters are not allowed. Chickens are, but you'll have to check the statutes if you're interested in having chickens, but no roosters. So if you got roosters, you need to report it, because they do cause, they are a noise ordinance about 5 a.m. a lot of times. And I'm a country boy, but I don't like hearing the roosters anymore. I'm too old for that. So anyway, so to the question, roosters not allowed. Make the call to the police.
Did that answer your question, ma'am?
Yes, a lot of them complain like 3:30 in the morning. So thank you, Mr. Woodall.
Yeah, they are not allowed, but hens are, and we want hens. I mean, that's an important part of it. But we don't want roosters crowing at 5 or 3. Let me tell you.
Thank you so much. Officer Knight, I'm going to bring you up now, and I'll hold off on District 4 Captain a little later, so I'm going to bring you now. Officer Knight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chestnut. Good morning, PAC 4 and PAC 5. Officer Knight here with Durham Police Department's Community Resource Unit. Just want to take a moment just to share a little bit of information about our upcoming 2022 Community Police Academy. The start date this year is going to be April the 19th. The class is going to be held virtually every Tuesday and Thursday evenings for about an hour. And basically with this academy, you'll have an opportunity to learn more about the police department, how we operate. We do have a few in-person sessions. If you think that that's something that you'll be interested in, if you go to the City of Durham's website, durhamnc.gov, it's under City News. I've also placed my information in the chat, and I think Officer Super put some more detailed information in the chat as well. So if you have any questions about our academy, or if you think that you might want to attend, just let us know, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Officer Knight. We appreciate that. Hi, Judge Evan. Good to see you. We're going to go to Captain Barnes of District 5. Captain Barnes, are you with me today?
Hey, good morning, Mr. Chestnut. Hey, Lieutenant Holliday, I'll be standing.
How you doing, Lieutenant?
Good to see everybody. I learned something new this morning. I have never encountered a call about a rooster in the city limits, so I just learned that roosters are not allowed. So that was a good thing to learn this morning. I'll be giving the recap kind of for our activities in District 5 for the month of February. For those who might be new on the call, District 5 is our downtown patrol district. Geographically, it's a pretty small area. It covers about 1.5 square miles. And during the month of February, we had 3 instances of violent crime that I want to mention. One, unfortunately, we had a homicide on Sunday, February the 20th. That took place around noon, and it was at East Main Street and Anger Avenue. So that case is currently being investigated by our homicide unit. We also had an aggravated assault at the Pickleback, one of our nightclubs downtown. A female victim was threatened by a gun from a known acquaintance, and that case is being investigated. And then also at the Living Room on West Main Street, which is another one of our nightclubs downtown. We had a large fight. We had some off-duty officers working at that club, and when the crowd kind of cleared out of there, we had a young man that was found unconscious on the floor with severe injuries. So that case is still being currently investigated as well. So those would be our three aggravated violent crimes that we had in the district. We also saw a little bit of a spike in vehicle break-ins downtown. No real trends as far as locations, times of day, things like that. Not very many of them occurred in the parking garages, but the main thing I guess to note there is if you park your car, just make sure not to leave anything valuable in the car, certainly not visible in the car, and then lock it up. You know, the criminals are just looking for something quick and easy to take inside the car, and if they see a pocketbook or a laptop or something in there, might give them a reason to try to break into the car. Our patrol officers downtown last month conducted 986 directed patrols, 206 foot patrols, and 97 property checks. Our most common type of call last month was trespassing. We had 75 of those. The majority of those are generated from one person in particular, a homeless individual who likes to walk into businesses downtown. We had 60 alarm calls. All of those were false alarms. And then we had 44 assist person calls. Let's see. Just a couple of crime prevention things to note. You're going to start seeing some new signage to the parking meters downtown to remind folks just to lock up their car and not leave anything valuable visible in the car. Be sure to call in anytime you see any type of suspicious activity. If something doesn't seem right, trust your instincts, just give us a call. You can always call 911. You can call the non-emergency number 560-4600, 560-4600. It all goes to the same place. I think lastly, we did have a couple bicycles stolen. So if you have a bicycle, lock it up or take it inside your house or put it in your garage or something. And that's all I got. If anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them.
Anyone from District 5 have any questions for Officer Holiday? Do anyone have any questions for Officer Holiday? Thank you so much, Officer Holiday. We certainly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Captain McDonald from District 4, McMasters, I'm sorry. Do we have Captain McMasters from District 4?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Good morning, everybody. Mr. Chestnut, you're probably my favorite person in the world because you promote me every month, and I really appreciate that. I'm still a lieutenant.
Okay.
Maybe and to help you out someday, but at this point, thank you very much. Two things that I want to kind of go off of what I had, or one thing actually to address immediately. Ms. Faust, I was made aware of your Southside Rooster on Friday, and it's something that we are aware of now. It's been brought to my attention. We'll be working to resolve that situation. As was noted, hens are perfectly acceptable within the city limits for us with certain rules and certain guidelines, but the roosters are not, and we understand why that's a problem. So we'll be working to address that as quickly as we can. Just an update, if I could, about our February crimes and things that were reported in District 4. We had, unfortunately, that one homicide at the 1400 block of East Cornwallis Road where 2 individuals were killed. The homicide unit continues to work on that. It does not appear that it was a random event, so there doesn't seem to be anyone else that should be at risk from that. And again, it continues to be investigated. Overall, our robberies and our aggravated assaults for the month of February were down between 45 and 50%, both of them. So we're pleased that they're trending in the right direction. Obviously, we hate that there's any robberies or any aggravated assaults, but are very happy that the community seems to be a little safer and our numbers are trending in the right direction. Our burglaries, our larcenies, and our motor vehicle thefts all were about flat, which again is kind of a positive thing. There's not an increase. We'd like to see them go down, obviously, but our burglaries, larcenies, and motor vehicle thefts all are remaining about the same as they were in January. We do notice, and as Lieutenant Holliday stated, we're going to ask and plead with you again to please lock your vehicles. Don't leave valuables in your vehicles, and don't leave them running and unattended. It's a crime of opportunity many times when vehicles are stolen or things are stolen from the vehicle. So if we make it harder for the bad guys to get our things, then it'll help us all out in the end. Unfortunately, these first couple of weeks of March, a couple of trends that I've noticed that I wanted to share with you is catalytic converters. We've had here in District 4, the south part of town, 4 vehicles that had catalytic converters stolen and cut off the bottom of them. So again, just awareness of your surroundings and who you see in your neighborhood and where you park your vehicles would be helpful there. And then again, dovetailing back to where I was talking about the larcenies, we've had 5 handguns stolen from cars already this month from March. So that's an alarming number. And again, many of these vehicles were left unlocked. And the final thing I want to talk about, kind of unrelated to the crime numbers here in District 4, but important as we go forward here into the year and get forward and close to summertime with the young men and women being out of school here soon. I just want to bring everybody's attention to the Durham's Police Athletic and Activities Unit and the athletics and activities that they provide. I had a conversation this week with one of the people who supervises that division, and they've got programs up and running. They're looking forward to expanding the programs again as things kind of normalize for the summer. So in the chat before I leave, I'm going to go ahead and put some information out, just kind of a link to how to get a hold of them. They're looking forward to, and they will be putting out some more information as well going forward to help keep our youth active and engaged in positive ways as we go forward through the summer. That's all I have to talk about. If anybody has anything specific they'd like to ask, I'd be happy to try to answer that.
Anyone have any questions for?
I do. This is Robert White, actually. I put a little note in the chat. I'm part of District 4 Southwest Durham Grand and Trace Development. We are New Neighborhood Watch, 47 homes in the community. We had a recent car theft on Wednesday where the police was called, but I was wondering, could we get maybe some drive-throughs? And that's first thing. And then the second thing, what could be done about solicitation? It seems like we're getting a lot more increased solicitation in the development.
Yeah, so 2 things. One, absolutely, we can. I'll alert the patrol sergeants and the squads that you've got an issue or that you'd like some more patrols to come through. So we can make that happen pretty rapidly to get some cars. So you'll see some more visibility of patrol officers. So that's quite easy. The solicitation, we tend to see it this time of year as the weather gets a little nicer, the days get a little longer. People do tend to be around. There's a lot of different issues where solicitation and First Amendment rights and things along those lines where we need to be careful. But if someone is coming and routinely coming to you and soliciting or creating issues in your neighborhood and problems where they've been asked not to come back and they continue to come back, you can let us know. I would encourage you to kind of you don't need to keep a log or document it, but keep kind of track so that when we do respond and when we can come out and talk to you and help you with that, that we've got some ideas of what's been going on or what's happening. We've got the non-emergency number, obviously you can call, but if you ever feel threatened or if you think that it's an emergency type situation, call 911. At the end of the day, it's the same people that will answer that call. So if you can't remember, it's escaped me at 560-4600, I believe. 911 is an easy number and an easy number to remember, but we will certainly make sure that we get some patrol officers in your neighborhood and take a look. I'm not familiar exactly with your car or the car that was stolen this Wednesday, but I'm sure the investigators that work out of this office are working hard to try to figure out what's going on with that.
Okay, very good. Thanks for that. What I'll do is I'll send an alert out to via the neighborhood watch to alert the members that there should be some increased presence in the area from patrol cars now. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
I have a
Mr. Hunt.
question.
I just wanted to let you know I got in.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, I have.
Take care.
Okay.
Someone
I
has
have
a
a
question.
Yes.
Okay.
I live in Emerald Woods Estate. They are building a community off 55. The developer has he turned his behind up to us and just mooned us and said that I don't have to do anything to work with the community. This has been a community that we have protected, and I have a lot of streets open in this community. They have opened up one street, and they had the audacity to name it Hams. I'm 73 years old, and every time you say that word, I think about that horrible person who was a senator from North Carolina too long, named Jesse Hams, and what he did, and this is a historical Black community, and what he did to us as a race. Then the city put up, when you come into Emerald Woods community, Emerald Woods Estates, they put up a sign, no construction traffic. I stopped a lot of trucks myself, and they say that the developer told them to come that way. When the city put up a no construction sign that comes in off Little Road onto Alfred into our community. I live where I live on Durham Road. When the leaves are off the trees like they are now, I can see trucks coming down Alfred. They either come down Akron, which is the first intersection when you come into Emerald Woods Estates, and come down that way, and I can see them out my back of my house. Then if they come down to Alfred and make a left on Jerome, they go right by my house. We have been trying to get something done about that developer since 19, when we could go and have a meeting, which we did with the city, DOT, and other people, planning and zoning. And that street, they didn't tell us they was going to change the name when he opened the street up. We found out after he put the sign. No one communicated to us at all. They're telling us it's going to cost a lot of money for this community to get that sign, that name changed, as well as we're asking them to open up any other streets, continue the name. We don't want our community just come an open way for anybody to go through. Last Easter Monday, somebody drove into this community off 55, or the developer opened up into this community. Just about as soon as they got into the Emerald Woods community, they killed a young man on the way to school that Monday morning when kids was going to school, about 6:30. Then about 6 weeks ago, someone came into this community off that street again and went through about every mailbox in this community. That opening has done nothing but trouble. The developer refused to respect us and the city, and we need the police department to enforce that no construction sign that's on the corner of Riddle and Alfred as soon as you turn into the community. Those trucks just pass through this community like there's no sign. That's what they've been doing the whole time. The city has asked them to do stuff, but the developer refused to do it. We would like for someone to stop, to stand at that entrance or sit where the first intersection is, those big trucks, and see how many come, or either you put something there to see and charge that developer. Durham needs money. When people are in violation of the city, just like this developer is, he needs to be fined. So my taxes don't go up to resurface these streets that he's wearing out in our community.
Ms. White, allow him to answer the question.
Yes.
Okay, give him a chance to answer.
So there was a lot there, and I'll do what I can. Unfortunately, I can agree with you about the naming of the street, but unfortunately, I don't think that's a police issue where we can do something about. I think you're doing the right things and working to try to get that changed. I can understand why that would be very
We have
troubling.
been working on this since 19, and then he put that street up and named it that, as well as all the other stuff he's in violation and insulting this community with.
The traffic going through with the signs, this is the first I've been made aware of this. So it's something I will take a look at today. As I travel from the office back to my home, I actually will drive right past your neighborhood. I'm assuming that it's the neighborhood that is kind of through the backside of your neighborhood if you travel through the Emery Woods where this traffic is going. So I can take a look at that and direct some officers to be there to so we can try to discourage this and stop that from happening. I live in a neighborhood.
No,
that
it's
had
not a backside. They just come in through the main entrance. Then
right,
they
through the main entrance to go to, if I understand correctly, a newer neighborhood that's kind of being built on the back side of your neighborhood.
right. And I know there's a city rule that you have to have more than one entrance and exit to a community that's developed today. But he should have never came to this community. He had the land, he could have done it all, both of the entrance and exits off 55. As well as he refused to put a lane across 55, like all other developments down from us has done. A lane across 55, that traffic can go either way, right or left. And they have to come to this community if they're doing a left. So he's trying to get out and insulting the community.
Ms. Wright, don't you think that's a thing that you should take down to the city council?
We've been to the city council. We was at February Public Works, and still nothing has been done.
Okay,
And I'm just kind of at all levels, Mr. Chester.
Okay, the police department will do what they can, and we'll work with you and try to get that solved.
Yeah, if they would enforce that sign at our entrance, it would be a blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Did anyone else have anything for Officer?
I do. Just a note that if there's mail stolen, you should contact the Postmaster General. They are quite powerful, and a surprising amount of places that they can go and things that they can do during their investigation. So mail falls to the USPS Postmaster General and their inspection unit.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else for the Lieutenant? Thank you so much, Lieutenant. We certainly appreciate it.
Mr. White, excuse me, Dad, I want to say something. Mr. White, I'm kind of confused with a lot of this information that you're saying, because when we have issues over here in our community and we address our city council with the problem, the problem is resolved. So I'm trying to figure out how your problem become a longer problem and it's not being resolved. Because anytime that we address the issue of problem in our community and we address it to the proper people, it gets resolved. I mean, it's not a long process. I'm kind of confused what's going on over your community, why it dragged on that long. Because that's why we have our city council. If you direct it to the city councilman, what the problem is, they will address it. And I can speak for them because they have addressed many issues in our community that have been resolved. So I don't understand what the issue over there, and it's just not been addressed properly. And the longevity of the problem, it's kind of getting me confusing, because if we have a problem over here and we address it, we email them or we either call them, Deandra or any of those city council will address that problem right then and there. And they will direct you to the department, and those guys, I've seen it myself, that they will come out in the neighborhood, those city department or that county department will come out and address that issue and get it resolved. And that's all I can tell you.
Thank you.
Well, I just say you're blessed. We've been working on this since 19. The current city council that we went before in February 10th, is not the city council that was there, that did nothing to help us. Dietrich Anna Freeman and Mark Anthony Milton, two city council people, they tried to do something, but they had no support from the rest of the council. So that's why we appeared before the city council again this past February the 10th. So, we've been trying to before this, and the things that the city told them to do, they have not done it. So we are continuing. And the day before we had our virtual meeting with the council, we sent in everything we needed to. They had the audacity on Kirby Street, instead of putting houses facing his community, they're putting face our community. So those houses in Emerald Woods, and they practically had the street closed. That street was there for the neighbors in Emerald Woods community, not for the workers of Courtney Creek. I just sent them to the city council so they would have them when we were on Thursday. So we've been addressing this. The new city council is trying to do something, but they're still coming through, even with the sign up there and other stuff too. We've been working on this 19.
We'll try to have some of the city council at our next PAC meeting, so you can address that with them then if you like. If not, we'll try to address it with them before then.
And we plan to go back to public works, a work session with the city council, because someone's gotta help us. It doesn't make sense that developers is allowed to open up these streets. It's going to open up another street. So that means that you'll have a freeway to the community and bring more trouble into the community, just like the two things that I've mentioned. Thank you.
Let's try to help you, Ms. White. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Chestnut.
Thank you. Do we have any other people who have a question? Okay, do we have anybody, political person here? Judge Evan, Judge Evan? Judge Evan? Take yourself off mute.
Chestnut. Hey, Pat 4 and 5.
Hey,
we know that you're running again for office. Could you
supposed to read or email it?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chestnut. I am running this is my last term for real this time. I told y'all before, but we have too much work to be done for me to just go fishing. So you all have always supported me. You've always been there for me. I'm asking you one last time to let me finish what I've done with this work. I'm working closely with Steve, of course, on this Haiti justice movement, the ceasefire initiative, the evictions, reopening the courts, all of these things I don't want to leave undone. So one more term, and then you all can get your own children, because my work is done. All right, thank you so much. Good to see everybody. I see my dear friend Labria Stevens up there. Morning, Miss Attorney Stevens. All right, thank you all so much.
Do we have anyone else that's running for office that I don't know?
Yes, hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, my name is Amina Thompson, and I'm asking for your support for the next Durham County Clerk of Superior Court. I have been a magistrate here in Durham for 13 years, proudly serving the citizens of Durham, and I want to continue to serve and to lead. By lead, I mean I want to focus on the legacy, efficiency, accountability, and diversity. I encourage you all to check out my website at thompsonforjustice.com, and I greatly, greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you put your website in the chat?
I did put it in the chat,
Okay,
but I will put it again, and I also
that's
put
fine.
my contact information. I look forward to hearing from you all.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone else that's running for office?
Yes, hey everyone, my name is Bettina Umstead. I am the current chair of the school board here in Durham. I was appointed in 2016, elected in 2018, and I am running again. I am in District 2, and so I hope that I can have you all support. I've been the chair for the last 2 years and really helped lead us through the pandemic and the return to school. And I really think we have a lot of work that needs to be done to make sure our students can regain some of the skills and be ready for the future. So I'm excited to be here. I'll drop my information in the chat, but I hope I have you all support.
Thank you.
Ms. Upstead, what you all are going to address the mask policy for the Durham Public Schools? That's I'm just hearing a lot about that. Do y'all plan on addressing that unmasking anytime to make a decision?
There's a lot of conversation, as you can imagine, about that. Yesterday, on Thursday, we made the decision to be mask optional outside. So students can take their mask off when they're outside playing around. We're still considering indoors and what's the right time to do that. I think one of our concerns is we want to make sure that we can have school in person, and so we don't have an outbreak. And also that, students are going back home to grandparents, parents, siblings, that they can stay safe as well. Now, I'll say we've had a lot of folks email us who say they want the mask off. I think some of them may not live in Durham, I'm not sure. So if you have thoughts or if you know people who really want to keep masks on for their kids, I encourage them to reach out to us so we can have that voice.
Okay, any other question?
I just want to say, I didn't hear Chair Umstead say it, but this school board, the primary is not a primary for them. That is their election. So we need to look at who is on the school board, like Ms. Umstead, who is the chair, and who is running for school board. But the May 17th is a primary for all the other elections, all the other people you've had on, it's a primary for them. But for the Durham County School Board, it is not a primary. This is their election, and we're really trying to stress this so voters would know, to make sure you understand the school board is the election in the primary. Thank you. And Bettina?
Ms. Umstead, we're going to invite you all in April so you can have like a question and answer session with our community members, you and your other constituents who's running for school board.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
I just want to say I am in Bettina's district, and I'm glad that she has our support. And thank you for being on, Bettina.
Thank you all for having me.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Just
Anyone else that's running, right, that needs to?
Good morning.
So
Good
much.
morning.
Good morning. This is Attorney Kevin Jones, and I'm running for Durham County District Court Judge. I thank you for this opportunity. I've been a practicing attorney in Durham for the past almost 20 years. I've practiced as a criminal defense attorney. I've been in private practice. But prior to becoming a lawyer, I was a teacher. And the lessons that I learned as a teacher was that we need to meet our students at the point of their need. I took that same energy and that same focus into my practice and how I deal with my clients. We need to be able to meet the citizens of Durham at their point of need. And that's what I plan to do as a Durham District Court Judge. And my aim for my campaign is pursuing greater justice. I want to pursue greater justice for the citizens of Durham by focusing on respect, focusing on rehabilitation, and focusing on redemption. So I look for your support. I look forward to answering any questions you may have at a later date. But May 17th, everybody come on out and exercise your right. Thank you.
We have two Kevin Jones. We have an attorney and then.
I would like to.
Yeah.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Can you take yourself off mute?
Earl, you're muted.
You're muted. Go ahead.
I would say a lot of the candidates that are running for the judicial office in Durham, they really need to come support Steve's program. Judge Evans really emphasized that, but not only when y'all are in office, but while y'all are not in office. I mean, while y'all are running, I know y'all are running and y'all need our support. But once you get in there, you need to come out and support that program because that is what you all are offering Steve needs, and that's very important because I'm not, this doesn't pertain to Judge Evans because Judge Evans been with us since day one. But some of y'all that's running that office need to come out and support those programs. That's very, very important. And Steve needs your support. Attorney Jones, Attorney Stevens, Attorney Thompson, and all the rest. He needs that support. Thank you.
I saw there was another Kevin Jones on the line as well. I want to shout out to the other Kevin Jones in the building.
He's our community strategist. He's our
Hey
coordinator.
man, you picked a great name. Your parents picked a great name.
Hey. we gotta have coffee or something one day.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, sir.
We don't want to overlook anyone.
Can we get Michael Vaughn in from our code enforcement department? I think he was able to join the call.
Yeah. Oh, good. Michael Vaughn.
Good morning. I am a new code enforcement officer designated over to PAC 4. And I have a sheet to read off for what has happened in District 4, which abatement is 2, repair only was 21, weedy junk lots were 13, initial inspections were 42, Warning inspections are 6. Re-inspections are 125. Total of the inspections add up to 173. Cases brought into compliance were 44. Pending cases that are open is 102. Residential initial inspections were 42. And I just want to say that I apologize for not being here earlier. I am not up on the computer stuff yet. I'm still learning, but through the help of Michelle, who y'all do know, she was gracious enough to help me, through the phone and send me stuff to help me join this meeting. And I am happy to take any kind of information or anything that y'all have concerning District 4 for, mine and Michelle's area. So anything I can do to help you, please let me know.
Well, if it will help, starting next month, we will be live. So that will help. You can come to the Campus Hill and we'll be back up there at 10 on the second Saturday. And who, did I miss the report from the code enforcement for District 5?
Give me 1 second, I'll tell you that. And thank you. I would really like the meeting in person.
And we'll take it easy on you
me.
today. It's your first day, so we won't be too hard on you the first meeting.
Okay, I'll tell you a quick story at the end. In District 5, there was 1 weedy lot, there was 1 inspection, there were 3 re-inspections for a total of 4. There was 1 case brought into compliance. Pending cases are 2. Residential initial inspection was 1. That's the report on District 5. So when I first came to work for the city 11 years ago, I did not know how to copy and paste. And I made a nice fool of myself using the copying machine and stuff. And yeah, I was laughed at all day, but hey, here I am on video today. Found a way to get in, so life is good and we're moving forward.
And can you put your email in the chat room so those who have issues and questions along the way, we can make sure we direct it directly to you.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Or if you tell me what it is.
It's michael.vaughn@durhamnc.gov.
Okay.
Vaughn is with a V as in victory, AUGHN.
I have you. I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else? Do we have any more guests? Do we have anyone that we missed?
Hi, good morning. My name is Jessica Major, and I just wanted to introduce myself. I am running for district court judge as well. It's seat 1, so that is not the same seat as Judge Evans. I just want to make that clear. And I just want to say that I'm running because when people come to the courthouse, they generally only get 1 chance to have their case heard. And so when they come in, they deserve to be heard in front of the best judge possible. And so I just want to make sure that the judges that we have are learned judges, that they're there for the right reasons, and that they provide everybody who comes to the courthouse with the best experience possible. And so that's the reason why I'm running for judge, and I hope that you'll support me on May 17th. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, can you put your information in the chat?
I certainly will. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else that we missed? Do we have anyone that would like to make a comment about anything? Announcement.
I would just like to ask, I didn't hear anybody give any kind of complaints for District 4 that, the code enforcement officer should go take a look at. So I apologize. I'm glad if there is nothing wrong, but we are continuing to work and do our best. If there's any issues, please let me know.
We certainly will. We certainly will. I
Harold?
guarantee it.
Chestnut, I just
Yes,
highly encourage those that are interested in attending the Community Police Academy to do so as soon as you can. The class is filling up pretty fast, and we're trying to cap the class size off at about 25 or 30 participants.
Oh, okay, good enough. Senator Woody, I saw your hand up.
Hey, Harold, thanks. I appreciate just a moment, just to point out something, a special day today. Our great friend, Howard Clement, would be 87 years old if he were alive today. So many of you on this call remember Councilman Clement. He was such a, well, really important part of this PAC for many years, lived in this PAC, I think most of his time in Durham. And anyway, as many of you know, he was my colleague. We shared an office for a few years. He was my great friend. He was a frequent rider in my car, as I know he was with the rest of y'all, since he didn't drive. I called him my Durham father. He and my father are the exact same age. They were just a few months apart in age. And today would have been Howard's 87th birthday if he were still with us. So Harold, I could not let today pass without remembering our great friend Howard Clement, who did so much for this city. Thank you for letting me share that with you all.
Thank you, Senator Woody. Howard were a great friend. He was a great friend of mine. When you couldn't take him home or ride him home, I had to go get him. So
yeah, I see plenty of other folk on here nodding their heads that they gave him rides too. I know Steve Chalmers gave him a ride many times, right, Chief? And anyway, but Howard was a great leader in Durham, and we miss him even to this day, though he's been away from us a number of years. His legacy lives on, and today is his birthday, and I wanted to share that with the assembled group.
I appreciate that, Senator Woody. You did let everybody know that he was in the best PAC. I heard that.
Harold,
do you have anyone else?
Harold, you might be the #1 promoter of PAC 4, but Howard was a close second, trust me.
Do we have anyone else that we missed, or anyone that had anything they'd like to say before we close?
Just a reminder, we will be live at Campus Hill starting next month. We meet on every second Saturday at 10. We are working on also going live still with Zoom. So stay tuned for that. So it become like a, you have your choice of either coming live or coming in person. Or logging on, sorry about that.
Judge Evans, you can bring the coffee and the donuts. Thank you.
For those who, before we stop, we had breakfast at every meeting. So we'll see what we can do. So yes, a hybrid meeting.
I will volunteer Charles to do it.
Okay.
So we will start that back up.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything else? If not, thank you so much for coming. And we certainly appreciate it. From District 4 and District 5, thank you. And we'll see you at our next meeting, which will be live at Campus Hill. Thank you.
Hey, bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.